alien spacecraft did not crash in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947.
You know flat earthers, I guarantee it. But you don't know who they are because they're afraid of talking about it.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system.
Hello and welcome to the 23rd annual Subliminal Deception Podcast, your weekly dose of conspiracy theory bullshit. My name is Cody, and I'm joined by my pal Phil. How are you?
Doing good, buddy. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. We spoke briefly before recording that I am now engaged in war with a car salesman, and so I haven't bought a new car in quite a while, and I really haven't fucked with, even though I work at a car place, I don't fuck with the salespeople. And when I went there to test drive the car and everything, I got enthralled with his mind tricks and stuff, right? So literally, I pull up in the dealership and like the Jeep that I was driving is, I don't even know. I think it might be like a 2008 or something. Pull up, he's like, man, sweet Jeep. He's like, do you store this in the winter? I'm like, no, it's fucking rust right there, dude. What are you smoking? Like, I know it's just like a con thing or whatever. But anyway, So we went for the test drive. What?
Would you like a little tug on your dick there? How you doing, buddy?
No, the best part was that, so we were going inside to discuss numbers or whatever, and he's giving me a rundown of everything, and basically, he keeps asking me over and over, he's like, what can we do to get you in this vehicle tonight? And I keep telling him, I'm like, sir, I have to drive my own car home. I cannot buy this car and then I'm not going to buy a car and then just leave it on the lot. And it's like, well, I'm going to, get my finances taken care of back home and I'll come back or whatever. And then he's like, hey, can you why don't you talk to my manager for a minute? You guys spoke, because I emailed him. And he comes over, he's reeking like he smoked 20 packs of Marlboro Red cigarettes. And he shakes my hand, he's got a grimy look on his face, like, what can we do to get you in the car tonight? I'm just like, God damn it. I just want to get out of here. I'll be back when I'm ready to, sir. It's just... Dude,
I'm telling you, you're getting older now. You might want to think about a Nissan Altima. Like, a nice family sedan,
Nah, I got to keep young at heart somehow. Anyway, Phil, anything exciting going on in Arizona?
Not really. It's hot as fuck. It's been nice the past couple weeks, but I'm boiling my fucking nuts off today. So
what
usual.
What temperature is hot as fuck for you?
Over 110.
Okay.
So
Yep.
It's been like 100 to like 108, I think, for the past like week. So it's been pretty decent. But today, I think it got up to like maybe 114, 115. So like in the afternoon, especially, it was bad.
It's funny because you're cooking alive, and I swear here it's storming every other day. So I think it was like 2 days ago. It was sunny in the morning. I get to work, I'm just working, and I work kind of outside, and it just starts fucking downpouring. And like I have to go back and forth inside and outside. I'm just like soaking wet by the time I'm done. I'm just like, God damn it. And then I have to have wet feet all day. Fuck, I hate that.
Oh, that's shitty.
I love, I know somebody who used to be afraid they were going to get trench foot from that. I'm like, I think it takes a little longer for trench foot to sit in than fucking 6 hours with wet feet, man. I think you gotta be in like disgusting mud trenches for like hours on end.
Spend a few weeks fucking hiking it through fucking rice paddies and then you might get trench foot, but I don't think it's happening in an afternoon. Unless your hygiene's just fucking dog shit.
That always made me laugh. What I wanted to talk about that we didn't get time to last week was the movie Us. Now, Phil, you had recommended this to me, and I had finally been able to actually watch it last week, and I hope this might be a spoiler for anybody. Just jump ahead like 2 minutes. But yeah, what would you say is a better movie, Get Out or Us, Phil?
I actually did catch Get Out after I watched Us. And throughout Get Out, I was still thinking like Us was a better movie. But then that last, I think, 20 minutes of Get Out was just crazy suspenseful. Like the entire movie Us wasn't as suspenseful as the last 20 minutes of Get Out. So I think Get Out probably was the better movie.
The last thing I want to talk about with Us is I'm so confused at the ending because obviously the doppelganger had switched with her, right? But somehow...
Yeah, when they were kids.
But how did the original girl then empower the entire army of doppelgangers to rise up and take over? Like,
I don't know.
That's where
that's a good question.
That's where I was so fucking confused. I'm like, what is going on here? Because I don't know.
Maybe she's the Keanu Reeves character.
I guess. But like the part where they're at the house at night and they're just like sitting, you can see him silhouetted in the background. That part is so fucking creepy.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine you're in your house and you just like peer outside and there's just like 4 people just sitting there, just staring. They don't move. They don't react when you yell at them. They just sit there and just stare. That is fucking creepy.
Yeah. The part at the end that kind of was a little weird about that movie was the Hands Across America thing that like the doppelgangers were all doing. Like you would think it was like should be when they're doing like stage 2 of the fucking war, you know?
Yeah.
Not like a Hands Across America thing. Like, that part was a little weird for me at the end.
Yeah.
I could have done without that. Like it should have been like what was that zombie movie where they were locked up in the mall?
Dawn of the Dead?
That was Dawn of the Dead,
Yeah.
yeah. It should have been like the end of scene of Dawn of the Dead where they just have cutaways of like Rampage, you know? Because that's what it should have been, but
Right.
I don't know.
Man, I love that movie.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
I assume you're talking about the remake and not the original.
Oh, most definitely the remake. Yeah.
I seriously have watched that movie at least like 20 fucking times. I love that movie. Anyway, Phil, should we dive in here?
Most definitely. Let's go for it. I have no idea what this is going to be, so I'm super fucking pumped.
Well, I told you, it's I consider it kind of a big one in the conspiracy world. And I had a request that maybe we hit the brakes on the aliens for a minute and go with maybe an assassination. And
all right. Who
I decided to do was Princess Diana of Wales. Now,
ooh.
I think, how old were we? We had to be in like 5th grade or something. I can still remember this happening.
Probably 11.
You think
10,
we're
11?
young? Yeah, I suppose. 97. Yeah. No, we'd be in like 5th grade.
5th grade, yeah.
I'm sure, because we were at Catholic school in the time, I'm sure they told us that Satan did it, huh?
Yeah, well, we were all told that she was a skank because she got divorced because she wanted a divorce.
Right. Sounds like that sounds like the Catholic Church for you.
We were told that they were evil just because they weren't Catholic, so that's part of it too.
Good call. All right, so we're going to start off with a little background information. Diana Frances Spencer was born on July 1st, 1961 in Parkhouse, Sandringham, Norfolk. I hope I said that right. She was the 4th of 5 children of John Spencer and Frances Spencer. The Spencer family has been closely allied with the British royal family for several generations. Diana's grandmothers had served as ladies-in-waiting to Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. I'm not really sure what the hell ladies-in-waiting does. Do you have any idea what that is?
Ladies-in-waiting. I think that they're the ones who like help them get dressed and shit.
I thought they call those like handmaidens.
Pour out their chamber pots and shit. Like, basically, it's like noble women who are kind of paid to like be friends with like princesses and shit, I imagine. Because in the movies, that's what they all are. They're like that movie about the Queen of France, Marie Antoinette. I'm pretty sure that's what the movie was. But like she had a bunch of ladies in waiting, and they were all like her buds, and they would all go gambling and drinking together.
Okay, so probably Diana's grandmother did some blow with the queen or something, like just like to party and hang out and have a good time.
Oh, I'm sure it was whiskey and fucking, whiskey, whores, and coke all over the place. Traveling to Miami. That's what you do.
Yeah. Diana came into prominence in 1981 upon her engagement to Prince Charles, the eldest son of Queen Elizabeth II. She was the first wife of Charles, Prince of Wales, and the mother of Prince William and Prince Henry, who obviously we know are still alive today. Who's the one who just got married? Was that Harry?
That one would be Harry.
Did I say Henry? I might have said Henry, but Harry.
You said Henry. Yep, it's Harry.
It's an H name. Who cares?
There's actually a great conspiracy about him.
Oh, really?
I learned this while living over there. Apparently, they don't think that Prince Harry is actually Charles's son, because apparently Prince Harry looks a lot like Princess Diana's boyfriend that she had while she was married to Prince Charles, supposedly. That's why he looks so much different than his dad or his brother.
Is he the ginger one?
Or an English person. What's that?
Is he the ginger one?
Yeah, he's the ginger one.
Okay. All right. Is Prince Charles still alive, or is he dead too?
Yeah, he's still kicking. He's in his, I think, 70s, 60s, 70s maybe. He'll probably be king for like 5 minutes after Elizabeth dies, but she's holding on strong.
Yeah,
actually, great thing about Prince Charles, like for an ugly dude, like back in his 20s, like he really got around. If you watch a documentary about him, kind of gives like other ugly guys hope. Like
he's famous, of course he did. He's famous, of course he did.
Still, though, I mean, even though he was famous and rich, you know, he's still got some ladies out there. So
it's a good point.
He was kind of forced to marry Diana. So supposedly,
okay. I want your opinion before we get too deeper in here. Do you think Diana was attractive?
Yeah, she's a good looking chick. I mean,
yeah,
like when she was in her, what do you call it? Like, I don't know how old she was when she got married, but I'm pretty sure I remember that she was pretty young when she got married. Like,
okay, she was born in 61 and her and Charles were married in 81. So she was 20. Yeah, she's 20. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, she was good looking, but I mean, this is like 80s. Like, she was wearing a lot of 80s clothes, so that always makes them look a little weird.
I always remember, like, I swear the picture you always see of her is like with that poofy, like, fur sweater on. Like, that really, like, it makes them look really big. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it was the 80s, so they had a lot of shoulder pads too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
a lot of weird looking like fucking pantsuits and shit. Like,
we need to bring those back. Anyways, so Diana and Prince Charles separated in 1992 due to both of them having marital problems and extramarital affairs. The divorce was finalized on August 28th, 1996. We will be talking about some of the people that Diana had affairs with later in the episode, but yeah, she even openly admitted that she according to her, when Charles would cheat on her, she would then cheat on him in retaliation. Do you know what I mean? I assume there wasn't a lot of fucking warm nights in that bed between the two of them. So. No, apparently not. But yeah, she apparently had a lot of affairs. He obviously had plenty of affairs. But yeah, it was a toxic divorce, I think it's pretty safe to say there. Yeah.
So Prince Charles's dad, Philip, was a notorious poonhound too. Like he would, if you watch a documentary on them, like he fucking got it, like crazy. He was all over the place.
I think we actually will.
Another one that,
I think we'll talk about him briefly too, actually, in this. All right. So on Saturday, August 30th, 1997, Diana left Sardinia on a private jet and arrived in Paris with Dodi Fayed, the son of Mohammed Al Fayed. That's her boyfriend at the time. I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Fayed. Does this sound?
Yeah, probably close enough.
I'm pretty sure it is. Anyway, they had stopped there en route to London, having spent the preceding 9 days together on board Mohammed Al Fayed's yacht, the Jonquil, on the French and Italian Riviera. They had intended to stay there for the night. Mohammed Al Fayed was was and is the owner of the Hotel Ritz Paris. So that's basically where they were staying at before the events of the crash took place. Now, Henry Paul, the deputy head of security at the Ritz Hotel, had been instructed to drive the black 1994 Mercedes-Benz W140 in order to elude the paparazzi. They had sent out decoy cars to distract the paparazzi while Diana and Dodie then exited through the rear of the hotel and entered the Mercedes-Benz. Apparently the paparazzi are just fucking insane here. Like
I already don't like this driver. He has 2 first names, which you never like. If you ever meet anyone like 2 first names, just like, oh, okay, bye.
You know what? What's even worse than that? He's Henry with an I instead of a Y. So I know he's French, but come on, guy, put that Y on there. Anyway,
yeah, you know he's gonna be one of the people who says Henry with an I.
How would you even pronounce that in French? Like Henry? I don't know.
Henry?
I don't know.
All right. You gotta drag it out all weird. They like to be different.
So when they all go into the car, it was Henry Paul driving, Trevor Reese Jones in the front passenger seat, and Diane and Dodie in the rear seats. Most believe that Diana and Dodie were not wearing seatbelts. At 1:23 a.m., Paul lost control of the vehicle at the entrance to the Ponte d'Alma tunnel. The car struck the right-hand wall, and then they swerved to the left of the 2-car carriageway before it collided head-on to the 13th pillar that supported the roof. The car was estimated to be traveling at 105 kilometers or 65 miles per hour. It then spun and hit the stone wall of the tunnel backwards, finally coming to a stop. The impact caused substantial damage, particularly to the front half of the vehicle, as there were no guardrails in between the pillars to prevent this. Witnesses arrived shortly after the accident reported smoke. Witnesses also reported that photographers on motorcycles, aka paparazzi, swarmed the Mercedes sedans before it entered the tunnel. Now, that's going to come back. That's going to be important later on once we get into the conspiracy angle of it. Now,
yeah, I imagine those paparazzi were right in there, considering everyone believes that they were hot on their tails. So,
well, it's like, okay, you send off decoy cars and all these paparazzi go after them, and yet there's still more paparazzi who are following them. Like, is paparazzi that bad in France? Like, they that?
Like European paparazzi is supposed to be like much worse,
really,
compared to America. Yeah, like they're absolutely fucking terrible. Like supposedly, I have no obvious firsthand.
Well, do you think
like you hear the stories?
Do you think that's because in America they're like, well, I was gonna say maybe they're too chubby to like chase after them,
fit on the back of motorcycles?
Yeah. 2 fat guys fitting on the back of motorcycles with like a fucking camera with a lens that's like 20 inches long.
No, they'd probably spin out fucking bad fucking proportions there. No, I think it's just like the privacy laws aren't quite as stringent in those countries maybe, and it's really competitive. Like I know in England there's a ton of like there's a lot of competition. The royal family in England, like London, they get hounded pretty bad. Like they can't go anywhere.
Well, yeah, like when that just reminds me, it's a little off topic, but say when I was visiting you there, I was shocked by all the royals shit, because I think one of the sons was having his first kid or something, and like that shit was like everywhere in stores and like everything. Do you remember that?
Yeah, they were commemorative plates. They were just a ton of shit. I was there, right? I flew in a month before the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, and I have never seen so many flags in my entire life. Like not even in like the Midwest during like the 4th of July. I've never seen that many flags ever. Like there were flags on every pole. Like anywhere you could put a flag, there was a flag everywhere in the country.
You can never have enough flags.
Amazing.
You can never have enough. So it probably looks like Sweet Corn Days back in Lime Springs.
Oh yeah, just a little bit worse. Yeah, they were all the red and not the Union Jack. They were the England flag.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
white with a red cross.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, so now that we got an idea of what is basically the police report of what actually happened to the car when they crashed, what time they crashed, but we don't really know why it crashed. Could there be a reason? Could there be somebody who wanted to kill Princess Diana? I think this is kind of I would say, really, we kind of know what the police tell us and all that, but there's still a lot of mysterious things. Like, I don't think that many people can confidently say that Princess Diana it was just a coincidence that she died and crashed in the car. Apparently, according to a UK poll taken in 2003, 27% of British citizens believe that she had been murdered. Now, Dodi Fayed's father, Muhammad Al Fayed, believes wholeheartedly that this was not an accident at all, but she wasn't assassinated. He still complains about this. Like, he has not given up. He thinks that I don't know if he thinks his son was assassinated, but he was a byproduct of her assassination. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. I mean, it was a really big stain for the royal family to have, the ex-princess, Princess of Wales, dating a Muslim dude.
Right.
That was a big thing for the country at the time. So.
We're definitely gonna be covering that because that's definitely a big popular theory. Why don't we start off? I think I kind of went from craziest to most logical, like we like to do. Okay. I think we have to start off with, probably, I would say I'd give this a 50-50, and that is Barack Obama killed her. Now, how do you feel? How do you feel about this? Could Barack Obama have maybe laid down a rail spike or something, punctured her tires, caused it to crash?
Well, I mean, in order to really complicate relations between the Western countries and Islam, I could imagine him doing something. I mean, he would have to travel from Mars to France to get this done. Because we all know he was in Mars at the time.
Right. How old would he have been in 1997? He
actually was born we just did this last week. He was born in 61.
Oh,
so he's the exact same age about as Diana is.
Maybe he had a super crush on her, and then because she wouldn't date him, he took her out.
Well, she did reject the reptilian agenda of her of the Queen Elizabeth, her ex-husband's mother. So he's obviously a reptilian also, allegedly. So, I mean, maybe he's a reptilian hitman.
Right. Maybe he spit acid on the road and it punctured the tire and then it blew out and crashed. That could be. No, I didn't.
Barry Soetoro strikes again.
The world's #1 assassin, Barry Soetoro. All right.
Yeah. By the way, that's his assassin name. That's the whenever he does any bad shit, it's always Barry Soetoro.
No, allegedly. I didn't actually put him in here. But that's going to be our new meme, is every conspiracy is going to have why Barack Obama could be involved and why he would have done it. So
just a little taste of 44.
Right. Anyway, so the first one we're going to start off with is Princess Diana was assassinated by angry international arms dealers. Now, this one kind of outlandish, but we probably don't remember because we were so young, but she was very big into the humanitarian aspects of, rallying and doing campaigns against certain inhumane things. And one of her big things were against the use of landmines.
I do remember this. She would show up to minefields.
Right.
And they would basically escort her through a minefield. She would have to only step where the dude in front of her stepped because she was walking through an active minefield.
That is terrifying. What happens if you just accidentally trip or something? Just get turned into red mist or what?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was just for show or if I had like a fever dream and I just remember this wrong for some reason, but I'm pretty sure I do remember her walking through a minefield. So,
Which she, like, the landmine things, that was one of her very, very big, like, humanitarian efforts. Now, where this kind of conspiracy comes into play is that maybe because she was speaking out against landmines, these international arms dealers and manufacturers were being upset that they weren't selling as many landmines, so then they would have killed her off.
yeah, you don't want to fuck with Big Kablooey. Like, they will fucking take you out.
Now, here's the other thing. If it was an arms dealer, don't you think they would have tried to kill her with the landmine, just as like a message?
A little too obvious there.
Right.
Just a little too obvious. Popping a claymore in the road. Basically jumping the car when it goes off. That's a little too obvious.
It's too obvious.
It's a message, but a little too obvious.
Now, here's what they might have believed. So we know that the paparazzi were, in fact, chasing their vehicle on the night of the crash. Now, what if they weren't actually paparazzi, but they were assassins hired by the arms dealers posing as paparazzi? And a lot of people claim that when the car was entering the tunnel, it was traveling at a very high rate of speed, and the motorcycles were chasing them almost like they're trying to get away from them, and because of their aggressive maneuvers, it then forced the car to accidentally crash. Does that make sense, kind of?
Yeah, it does. Also, those roads over there are pretty tiny, so...
In France?
And they're old. Yeah, well, in Europe. Well, most of Europe. But they're very old, too. And... yeah, like trying to do like maneuvers and stuff, like especially through that tunnel would be extremely dangerous. Like I still remember pictures of that tunnel.
It's tiny. I remember that. It's tiny. Could Barack Obama have been one of the international arms dealers who then was chasing after them?
I mean, it holds water, of course, you know. I mean, he's probably done worse shit.
Obama landmines.
Obama. Yeah, this seems like if you're going to put ass in the back of a motorcycle, it seems like an out-of-town thing. You might want to go pick up some people from Oakland or possibly Pittsburgh.
The Pittsburgh assassins might have a bit of a gut. They'd probably prefer riding in a car or something, not a motorcycle.
Yeah. In the back of an El Camino.
Okay, now we're going to move on to the next one. This one might actually be my favorite because it might actually be the wonkiest one. And that was Diana paid the price for dabbling in the dark arts. It is known that her ex-husband, Prince Charles, had a huge interest in the paranormal and supernatural. Now, Diana and Sarah Ferguson, ex-wife of Prince Andrew, would often seek the counsel of a spiritualist, medium, and psychic sensitive. Now, Simone Simmons was a New Age therapist hired by Diana in 1993 to cleanse Kensington Palace of, quote, negative energy. Simmons later said Diana was growing paranoid and became convinced that the Saudi royal family wanted to kill her. Later, she became paranoid that the CIA was trying to kill her. Now, where the dark arts come into play is they say that Diana was becoming deeper and deeper involved in, like, occult practices, okay? Now, have you ever heard with, like, say, big musicians get involved with occult shit, or, like, famous people get involved with cult shit, and then it kind of, they always seem to have, like, an untimely fate? Have you ever heard that before?
Yeah, it always seems to go like hand in hand with like drug use though too.
Right.
So
that's the one.
The occult shit either came from or is a cause of. I
feel like so many of the people, I could be wrong, but like say rock stars or like actors, like they get involved with the occult stuff because they believe it's actually gonna like give them power to advance their career or like something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like it's
everybody's looking for that fucking edge.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
It's why people get into Scientology. They all want to get the Tom Cruise treatment. You know,
but you have to donate like $100 million before you learn how to. What do you learn at the top tier? Was it telekinesis? Is that what you
I
learned?
don't know. You learn how to like become so clear that you like levitate and shit. I think that's
right.
I think allegedly and supposedly both of those. So you become like a pure being kind of deal. All of your thetans are like working in like in
unison,
like an orchestra, like a perfect song.
Hell
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so we all need to try to get. That's
well, we
our
know
Lord and Savior L. Ron Hubbard.
Well, we know that I don't think Scientology is quite big enough yet for Diana to get involved with it, but maybe she would have. But basically, it continues on that people would claim that Diana would gather some of her closest friends. She had like a special room in her house that they would practice witchcraft, astrology, and apparently summoning dark forces. And then people are leading into this conspiracy that if she was in fact messing with occult things, what if she summoned a dark being that then decided to have her killed or kill her or cause the accident or something? I don't know. It's really wonky and stupid and kind of out there, but it's fun to talk about.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, how old would she been at the time? Like in her
93?
Like 93. She was born in 61. She'd be in her like early 30s. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of chicks at that age are starting to, kick back into witchcraft, like dust off their old Ouija boards and shit from when they were teenagers. Like a lot of the chicks on our Instagram seem to be into that witchcraft stuff. So,
well, you know what? I think I don't want to generalize anybody. You can practice whatever you want, but I feel like our generation is like sick of Christianity, and everybody wants to find something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everyone wants to find something that works and that's not trying to drain them of money.
That doesn't pass around a little wicker basket for you to put dollar bills in.
Here's a gold plate. I want you to put your money on it so we can buy more gold plates.
Actually, the funny thing is that the last time I was at that baptism, they got smart. They don't pass around the basket anymore. They have it on a stick. So they stick the stick down the aisle. You have to put it in there. And then, so you can't steal the money out of there again.
Yeah, if they start getting desperate, they're just going to walk up to you, up by your ankles, and start shaking you. Have some big motherfucker, somebody underneath holding a big wicker basket, like just catching everything.
You mean their altar boys will all be like beefcakes? Who will just fucking like rough up anybody who won't give them money?
Well, if the priests had it their way, then yeah, that's probably how they would do it.
We got these new oiled up altar boys, brand new.
We brought in a new crop.
How old are you, little boy? I'm 39.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
My name's Gary. All right, so now we're going to move on to basically probably the ones that everybody believes that Diana was killed by the royals. Now, some believe, like you said, is that the royals were either, say, a reptilian group, or they are involved with the Illuminati, or maybe they have their very own secret society of some kind, and like you said, they didn't like Diana's lifestyle choices, mainly the divorce, the infidelity, and obviously her relationship with Dodi Fayed, a Muslim man, and they didn't want to, quote, taint their bloodlines. Now, that all kind of makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, okay, like deep down, do you think the royals is like a secret society, or they could have a secret society, or do you think they could be reptilians? What do you think, Phil?
Well, they're definitely, if they were a society, they're not very secret. I mean, they're pretty out there.
They're hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the secret part of it would be that it's not just the royal family. There's many like bloodlines. There's many different, like all around the world. There's different like royal families, bloodlines, very important people who kind of like, even if it's not the Illuminati or the like Masons or anything like that you've heard of. I think that there is like a Children of Victoria type. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Especially Victoria. She was like the grandmother of the Europe pretty much of all of the royal families. So I mean, there could still be like a secret society just devoted to the offshoots of the royal family.
Is Queen Elizabeth related to Queen Victoria?
Yeah, she is the granddaughter.
Yeah, okay.
Great granddaughter, maybe. Yeah, because her dad was the grandson of Victoria, so she's the great granddaughter.
Okay, that makes sense. So I think Victoria died in the 1800s, I believe, right?
Yeah, in the 1800s. Yeah, which tells you how old Elizabeth is.
So should we be worried that Meghan Markle, is that her name, that she could potentially be assassinated?
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, I think that they brought her in just to kind of like shine up the old, the old image of the royal family. Like, oh yeah, we got this cool American chick. She did plenty of fucking before she met Harry, but we're cool with her. Yeah, come on in.
What if 10 years from now she just mysteriously dies in a car crash like Princess Diana?
I don't think that they're going to go with the same, like, they're not going to kill her the same way. Like, that's too obvious.
They do a different approach.
Like, oh, shucks. Hot air balloon accident, She got hung upside down and just fell out. Yeah, too bad.
Anyway, back to the subject here. So, like we said, they were worried that their, quote, bloodlines could be tainted. Now, I think you mentioned this earlier, that it was suspected that Diana could have been potentially pregnant with Dodi's child. And obviously they would be really, really upset about that. Now, Dodi's father said that the royal family could not accept that an Egyptian Muslim could even be the stepfather of the future king of England. Those were his exact words. That was an exact quote from him. So he does not like the royals in the least bit. I guess he kind of has a reason to, if he genuinely believes that Diana was murdered by him and his son was just kind of a byproduct of it. Yeah. So,
I mean, anyone whose kid gets, takes a stray bullet's going to be pretty pissed off at the person they think who shot him. Yeah. So, you gotta level with them, you gotta feel for him.
Right. And I should note too, according to the articles I was reading, that her autopsy revealed from her blood tests and stuff that she wasn't actually pregnant. But again, if this is a high-level assassination, they could definitely hide that, right?
Oh, yeah. And especially, I mean, one call from the royal family, and it really, I don't think it would matter, like, which government you're in. I think it could get covered up. Right. Like, they have enough money, they have enough pull, that they could probably cover that shit up.
Right. All right, continuing on with the royals. So a lot of people believe that Queen Elizabeth was actually one of the leading forces in killing Princess Diana. So Queen Elizabeth and her consort, Prince Philip, were extremely upset by the nasty divorce between Charles and Diana. A lot of people claim that they were very humiliated when, like, all the news about all the affairs and that Diana was talking openly about her affairs and Princess Charles' affairs, and that Princess Diana basically openly admitted that when Prince Charles was cheating on her, then she would cheat on him, and it was a big smear on, I guess, the royals' reputation. So, and Queen Elizabeth, I don't know if I've ever even seen her smile, but I can't imagine she would be too happy about this.
Oh, yeah. Especially not Queen Elizabeth. I mean, her and Philip, like, they're both part of the old school. Like, they're the last generation of it. But, like, you keep up the facade. Like, you don't open up the curtain for anyone.
No.
And Diana ripped the curtain back and, just let everyone see and, see past the facade.
So is Prince Philip still alive? He's dead.
I believe so. Yeah, he's still alive.
Okay. So I'm guessing her consort's like her side hoe, kind of.
No, they're married.
Well, I know, but when you refer to her, when you refer to him as her consort, it kind of sounds like he's underneath her.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's kind of the thing about him. So he's married to her, but all of his children take her last name, and he isn't referred to as king because she's the monarch. So if he was called king, then everyone would assume that he's the number one person in that, in that relationship. So he actually has to like walk behind her. He's been walking behind her basically her whole life.
Okay.
So,
well, I guess if he's cool with that role, that's fine for him, I guess.
and if you believe like the historians and like people who like the biographers, they probably both wanted to be divorced from each other.
Yeah.
Like, quite a few times.
Yeah.
Like they did not have the happiest of marriage. Like,
no. Well, it sounds like, well, I'm going to talk about it in a minute here. So let me give you a quote from a close friend of Prince Philip that would be printed in London's Sunday Mirror newspaper the day after Diana's death. So it read, Prince Philip has let it rip several times frequently about the Fayedes at the dinner party. During a country shoot and while on visit with close friends in Germany, he's been banging on about his contempt for Dodi. Diana has been told in no uncertain terms about the consequences should she continue the relationship with the Fayed boy. Now, does Prince Philip have enough pull where he could threaten Diana's life, you think?
most definitely.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
So is it like,
Well,
is he like number two, kind of?
well, he's basically, if you believe the biographers again, like he's kind of the one who's held it all together. Like,
Okay, all right.
So he's always kind of in the background, but while Elizabeth was queen, he was kind of like keeping everything in the family together, like keeping the facade up. So he's very powerful in his own right. He's also extremely wealthy.
So he's kind of like the
has-
Dick Cheney of the royals.
Yeah, I mean, he's not quite a Karl Rove. He's not a background guy. He also, I was going to say this too before, but you just kind of said it. He is known to like have a big mouth and not be able to keep it shut. Like everyone that I talk to about Prince Philip, they're always like, yeah, he kind of just spouts off. Like he'll just say whatever he wants. He gets himself in trouble with all the people that the royal family has to answer to. Like,
So so he could have definitely said this to his close friend then, and it's very weird.
He's not a tight-lipped person.
Well, it's weird that they would print that quote the day after she was dead. Like, obviously they're gonna scour for anybody who can muster up any gossip, possible. But Prince Philip was probably regretting that one, I imagine, if he actually said it.
I'm guessing that they were throwing money on the table too to anyone who had anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
At that point, it was a feeding frenzy.
Now,
Just for
to add to like what Prince Philip was saying, if he was angry that she was with the Egyptian boy Dodi, that if Princess Diana was dead, then Princess Charles could have full control of William and Harry without Diana bothering. And I was a little confused about this part. It basically said Charles couldn't remarry after he had been divorced from Diana initially. Does that sound right?
couldn't what?
Okay, so they obviously got divorced, and the last girl he was having an affair on Diana with was Camilla or whatever, and it sounded Camilla, yeah. It sounded like they couldn't get married while Diana was still alive. Like he couldn't get remarried after getting divorced.
I've never heard that part before.
See, I don't know. I don't know for sure, but that's like when I was reading stuff, that's almost what it sounded like. Like, yeah, they were divorced, but he couldn't just go remarry somebody else, remarry the girl that he was having an affair on Diana with.
I'm pretty sure they're still together, and I think that they were actually dating before he got married to Diana.
He would while him and Diana were together, this is the girl that he was cheating on Diana with. Then they separated, and he stayed with her. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he stayed with Camilla, and he's still with her.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I should have looked that up, but that's what it sounded like. Like he couldn't just initially get remarried to her while Diana was still alive or something. Yeah, I could be wrong. That's what it sounded like.
Yeah, the problem also was I'm pretty sure Camilla also divorced. So it wasn't a thing where she could become like the Princess of Wales.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's also a part of it too.
So does she have a title now?
I think that she's like a duchess, but I think that she has that all on her. I don't actually think she got any titles from being with Charles.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, let's continue on here. So, as I mentioned before, it was well known that Diana was starting to get really paranoid towards the end of her life. Diana's butler had actually held on to a letter that Diana had written, and this is what it said here. I am sitting here at my desk today in October, longing for someone to hug me and encourage me to keep strong and hold my head high. This particular phase in my life is the most dangerous. And then it's just blanked out, is planning an accident in my car, brake failure, and serious head injury in order to make the path clear for Charles to marry. So that apparently Diana had written that letter. And again, there's that marriage thing again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So she actually kind of prophesized her own
death, correct.
Her own death
Right.
From sabotage to the car.
Correct. I mean, that's the easiest way to make it appear as an accident, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you cut the brake lines and then the accumulator only has like 3 brakes left in it. So you get some motorcycles chasing you down. You use up those 3 brakes. Suddenly you're down in a tunnel with no brakes.
Right.
That's it's a pretty scary situation.
That we might talk about a little later on here. It sounded like it was more a problem. If there was a problem with the car, it was more of a problem with the accelerator. Like the accelerator getting stuck. You know what I mean? Because they were traveling at such a high speed. But and
then you just, yeah.
So during the time that this letter was written, Diana was actually having problems with her vehicle. But none of it obviously was fatal yet. But she claims that there were certain weird issues with her cars. And then it gets weirder when her former bodyguard was killed, and then she believes that he was killed because they were lovers. His name was Barry Manakee. Have you ever heard of this guy?
No, I haven't.
So while she was still married to Prince Charles, she was having an affair with this bodyguard. And then,
basically anybody with a dick who was around her.
Well, she seemed to... I'll say this from her quotes, and we're going to be talking about one from her, that she, like, really, really, actually, I think was in love with this guy. Like, it wasn't just an affair. I think she, like, really, really loved this guy. And then, obviously, he died. So in 2004, a tape circulated with Diana talking about Barry. She said about the affair, but it was all found out, and he was chucked out of royal protection. Then he was killed. I think he was bumped off. So why she believes this is because he was, again, killed in a traffic accident in 1987. The report says that he was riding passenger with a police officer, apparently, on some Suzuki motorcycle, and they ran into a car, and then they were both murdered. And obviously when that happens with one of Diana's ex-lovers, people are going to say maybe Prince Charles was jealous and then had him killed off, or something like that. You know what I mean?
That's such an embarrassing way to die. Riding bitch on the back of a Suzuki with a cop. It's an odd way to die.
Maybe they were just really close friends, Phil. Let's not... I don't know. Is it more acceptable in Europe for 2 men to ride on a motorcycle together?
Probably. They're a little different over there. Yeah, maybe. I mean, what country were they in? Was it?
Let me see.
I know in Asia, it's super normal for like entire families to be on a motorcycle.
I believe it's just in London. But not that there's anything wrong with 2 men riding on a motorcycle, but, I want to state that very clearly. You ride with whoever you want to ride with, but there's stigmas in America, and that you can't even. Nobody can even deny that. I'm sorry, you can't even deny that. But
yeah, if you're gonna have anyone on the back of your Harley, it's gonna be an ugly bitch, and you're gonna have a shirt that says, "If you can read this, the bitch fell off." That's what. That's what you got in America.
You know what? I'm so sick of motorcycles right now. Like, Today, I'm just going to say this. Obviously, people can probably hear motorcycles sometimes when we're recording, but fucking A, man. If there's any good part of winter, it's that I never have to hear a goddamn motorcycle again. It's like, motorcycles are fine, but why do they have to floor it off every stop sign? Like, can't you just drive it normal? Why do you have to floor it and just rev the shit out of it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, if they wanted to just drive it normal and not rev the shit out of it, they would be just driving vehicles. They wouldn't need it's the point of it all, you know.
Right.
They're gonna say otherwise, but yeah, it's that. Like you never hear anyone take their motorcycle to the shop because it's too loud.
No,
you know, it's weird. It's weird. It's a little too loud.
Can we tone this down a little bit?
Yeah, can we take this down a notch?
My neighbors say
I'm waking up my neighbors.
Yeah, my neighbors say I'm really obnoxious and I should turn it down a little bit. No, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, if you told a bike mechanic that you were worried about being obnoxious, they'd probably take the fucking keys away from you. Like, you don't deserve this. You're not a real bike truck. You're not a real rider.
All right, so continuing on here. The next one is that her driver, Henry Paul, was paid by either the French or United Kingdom governments to purposely crash the car. But this doesn't really make sense because he was killed instantly in the car crash. And it is pretty well known that he was drunk and they believe he was under the influence of prescription drugs. So he probably shouldn't have been driving anybody at all that night, you know?
Yeah, I've been waiting to ask this if you had read into what his blood alcohol level was, what drugs were in his system, because I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, he was
over. It is well known.
He was over the blood alcohol limit for driving. I think it was like 1 point something. I don't remember what, but the drugs part, they don't know for certain if he was on drugs, but a lot of people believe he was drunk and popping pills, which if you do that, you get like immensely fucked up.
Yeah, pills and alcohol are not something that you should mix together.
Okay, now this part of it post-crash is a little weird. So, did you know she was still alive after the crash?
No, I didn't. I thought that she died instantly also.
No. So, in fact, during the crash, only Henry Paul was killed instantly. Diana and Dodie were still alive, as well as Trevor in the front seat. So this is where it gets weird. So they crashed the car a little after midnight, I believe. And when the ambulance arrived, she was taken out of the car at about 1 a.m. Okay? She sat in the ambulance until 1:41 a.m. and then was finally transported to the hospital at 2 a.m. She's still alive this whole time, and at 4 a.m. she finally passed away. So from the crash till she got to the hospital, she was still alive, and then when it was too late, when she got to the hospital and they were trying to fix her, basically how she died from what I was reading. So her heart had gotten pushed over and then it had severed one of the arteries. So she bled out internally, obviously. So
yeah,
that's fucking brutal. I've never even heard of that before. But obviously if you're getting in a car crash at a high rate of speed, but where the conspiracy lies with this is that why didn't they take her to the hospital immediately?
You know what? Goddamn socialist medicine. That's why. You can all bring it back to that.
You know what
socialist fucking medicine.
Do you know what their explanation is? Is that in France, they try to fix you in the ambulance before they will actually take you to the hospital. So a lot of people believe that if she would have just been taken to the hospital immediately after the crash, instead of fucking 2 hours later, actually 2.5 hours later, that she would have still been alive. Or they could have fixed her, found her heart thing or whatever.
Oh, I'm sorry. The doctor is enjoying a Macaron cigarette. He cannot be bothered right now with pushed over severed heart.
He's got his biscotti and espresso. Don't bother him right now.
We're going to let the $15 an hour EMT take care of this. Actually, back in the day, he was probably making like like $8 an hour. We're gonna let them take care of this. No offense to EMTs, you guys do a great fucking job out there,
but yeah. So I think that is one of the more fishy things, like, because I thought they were all dead, you know. And after the crash, Dodie died, Diana died, Henry Paul died, but the passenger in the front seat was still alive. He's still alive. He was banged up, but he didn't get killed. He's the only one in the car crash who didn't get killed. So
I thought that help couldn't arrive as quickly as it should have because the paparazzi. I thought that they wouldn't like let the cops or the ambulance like come near it because they were like taking pictures and shit. I thought that was also part of it, that they were obstructing. We're
going to be talking about, they're the very last conspiracy theories of paparazzi. And yeah, they were a pain in the fucking ass for this whole situation.
From basically the joke is that they would have like stepped on Diana's neck to get a better shot.
Well, allegedly there's a story that came out that I was reading. So apparently after the crash happened, that they suspect, or they claim, some paparazzi, like one of them actually went to get help, you know, call an ambulance, but a lot of them were just sitting there taking pictures of her. And apparently while they were taking pictures of her, when she was in the car accident, they recalled her saying, like, stop it, or like, quit it, or like something like that. Like, she was still conscious enough to tell them to quit fucking taking pictures of her while she's like, after this horrific car accident, you know what I mean?
While she's dying in the back seat of a about to be on fire vehicle.
Right. Right. So it's like these fuckers were just like mosquitoes, man. They just wouldn't leave them alone at all. So basically, probably the most probable thing of what could have happened, and keep in mind maybe the paparazzi were hired by the royals too. I don't know. But so, like we said earlier, a lot of people were saying that because the paparazzi were chasing them so aggressively, it caused Henry Paul to then hit the accelerator, trying to outrun them, and then obviously it caused them to crash the car. Now, there were some that speculate they were witnessing the car going into the tunnel, and there was a shitload of bright flashing lights, like from fucking cameras, that could have blinded Henry Paul, and then incidentally caused the fucking vehicle to crash. Does that make sense?
That actually makes the most sense. Yeah. And if you combine that with all the drugs and alcohol system,
right.
that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So basically they're just being pricks who are fucking chasing him, and maybe if he's hopped up on alcohol and pills, and you're going into a dark tunnel, and you got a bunch of fucking bright lights hitting your eyes, you know, you can't see shit. So I thought they said they were going 65, or I think the speed limit was like maybe like 30 miles an hour on that road or whatever. So he was going way over it.
Yeah, you got to remember that those paparazzi, I mean, they're obviously out there doing their job. It's not their job to chase someone down a 35 at 60 some miles an hour and into a tunnel. But I mean, if they get the right picture, they could be set. Like if they could catch a picture of like Diana, like making out with Dodie in the back seat, like that's it.
That's the gold. That's the money shot
for a while. No, like obviously, you know.
Yeah.
Like they always want to try to get like nude photographs or, you know, the sex pics or whatever they're trying to get. But I mean, that pic would have made them if they could have gotten that picture.
Mm-hmm. I didn't realize, like, I mean, I know tabloids are bad and annoying as fuck, but apparently in Europe they're way worse than they are here.
Yeah, I think that in what's Prince William's wife's name? There was a picture of her. She was like sunbathing topless, and a paparazzi had gotten that picture, and I'm pretty sure he sold it for a lot of money.
Oh, Jesus. I don't doubt that in the least bit, to be honest with you.
But yeah, it might not be her. I might be thinking of an actress, but I'm pretty sure that like a lot of money was changed hands for that picture.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Yeah. Let me read you this very last line here that I actually thought was really, really interesting. So, France Info Radio reported that one photographer was beaten by witnesses who were horrified at the scene. So again, he was taking so many pictures that people fucking beat his ass because he wouldn't fucking stop taking pictures of her like mangled body. After the crash, 5 of the paparazzi were taken into custody, and later 2 others were detained, and about 20 rolls of film were taken from the paparazzi, and those rolls were all basically film of her, what she looked like post-crash. That's how many pictures they had, and the cops confiscated them, which is a little fishy too, kind of, but that's apparently why you can't find any pictures of her, like what the car crash, she looked like post-car crash or whatever, because the cops confiscated them from everybody.
Yeah, that actually makes me a little happy to hear. If it is just a case of drunk driver being chased by paparazzi, it's good to hear that like they didn't get to sell any of those pictures.
Right.
Like, not only did they not get to sell any of those pictures, but they also either got arrested or got their asses beat. Like, it's nice to hear that normal good people like beat the fuck out of some asshole.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, I guess you could always keep looping around the conspiracy that, you know, maybe the paparazzi were being hired by somebody or whatever to do this. Or what if their pictures, or they were assassinated and then they confiscated their pictures because maybe there was something revealing on there. Do you know what I mean?
That also could be a possibility. You think that maybe some evidence?
Yeah, like what if there was something, like maybe there's a picture of the car and like you could see something that had punctured a tire or like something like that. You know what I mean? Because the driver's dead, so he's really the only one who would kind of feel what happened.
Or bullet holes or anything like that. Like maybe the tire got shot out.
Right. That's a good point too. That was
a torn brake line, something like that.
There was I didn't include it in here, but there was like one line some like smear paper wrote that Prince Charles had like a helicopter full of gay men that shot the tires out of the car and caused it to crash or something like that. Did they suspect he used to be gay or something?
I've never heard that before.
That was the first time I read it too. I could just be a smear thing, but
he was how did they describe him? He, like, his father Philip is obviously this, like, he's an athletic dude, you know, like big into sports, like went to this like school. He was the tough guy at his school. And then Prince Charles is like the exact opposite of Philip. He's like not a tough guy at all. He's not an athlete. He's soft-spoken. He's a gentle soul type dude. So, I mean, maybe that's where it comes from, but
it could be.
Yeah, I've never heard, because I mean, like, there's like you talk about like paparazzi, people taking pictures. There was tons of pictures taken of Charles with his girlfriends, like when he was like coming up, like before he married Diana. There's tons of those pictures. So.
Oh, you mean like all his ladies before Diana, like he had a lot of them, you're saying? Like a lot of them?
I don't know about a lot of them, but there's pictures of him and like a lot of women, like him going out with women. So that also could be just a
cover.
A cover for him. Yeah, could be.
But like his dad's like, you gotta act like a straight man. Take pictures with all these beautiful women.
Bring on the line of ladies. All right, Tuesday night you're going with him to the Wednesday night. I don't know why he sounds like a fucking like a loan shark from fucking the Northeast. It'd
probably be like if John Travolta and Tom Cruise can do it, son, you can do it too. Anyway,
don't worry, kid.
Anyway, Phil. So let's say let's start out with this. Do you believe that she could have been assassinated? Does any part of you, percentage-wise, say she was killed for some reason?
I'm gonna say a solid 6%.
That she was assassinated.
Just because that she was assassinated by either the gun people, the royal family, the Saudis, like somebody took them out that night. I'll give it 6% just because there's a lot of smoke there.
Yeah.
most likely I would give the other 94% to bad driving conditions and drugs and alcohol in the system.
Yeah.
And the fact that these little fucking vampire assholes were chasing him down. So, I mean, if you have ever seen like when the camera gets flipped on these paparazzi, like a lot of them do look like soulless little beings. So
I've never watched the movie Nightcrawler. Have you?
Yeah, I have. He's in that movie. He actually like he's in the scene of a crime like before the cops get there, and he's taking pictures, and he actually starts staging the bodies to like look better for his pictures.
Is that movie pretty creepy? I've heard it's creepy.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy. Fucking Jake Gyllenhaal is in that movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember him. Well, I'm gonna give
what do you think about it?
I don't know. I'm really conflicted on this because we live in America, so we don't really have to worry about them. But I don't trust. I feel like the royal family has some deep secrets. Even though a lot of people, like some of our European fans or whatever, just claim the royals are effectively like the Kardashians of fucking England right now. But I don't know. I feel like Elizabeth and Prince Philip had a lot of reason why they didn't like Diana for quote-unquote embarrassing their family. Now, was she assassinated? I don't know. I'd probably give it more like a 20% chance she was. But
Really? 20?
Yeah. I don't know. Something just seems really fishy. Like, why was she so paranoid up until her death? Why was she so worried that someone was going to get her? And then she just dies. You know, something seems weird about that. Because, you know, like she's afraid of the Saudi family. She was afraid of the CIA. She was afraid of the royal family. She was like, this is coming from somewhere. And I don't think it was known that she was a pill popper, a drug addict. Not that I've ever heard. Maybe she was. I don't know.
You don't think that the mental illness might not have come from the stress and
okay, like that's a good
pill
point.
Popping and
that's a good point.
And she was running away from a bunch of inbred fucking assholes who may or may not have been trying to turn her into a reptilian.
Right.
So
maybe she knew they were reptilians and they had her killed, so she didn't expose it.
Yeah, and also she's trying to fight custody away from her kids' grandmother, who happens to be the most powerful human being on Earth, possibly.
Right.
Like,
that was the other thing. Like, the custody battle must have been getting pretty nasty. And after the separation, they had to pay off Diana. I forgot to put in that, but they paid her. Like, she got a huge lump of some money out of them. So, I'm sure they didn't like that.
One thing you didn't mention is, technically, Queen Elizabeth owned... she was the main guardian of William and Harry. Like, it wasn't Diana or Prince Charles. Like, it's Queen Elizabeth. Like, with the kids that Prince William has, like, technically they are, like, underneath the guardianship of Queen Elizabeth also.
Really?
Yeah, like, since she's the queen, she's the main person who makes decisions. Like, say Prince William wants to take his kids to America, he has to ask Queen Elizabeth for permission.
No shit.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And I mean, they might not be doing that very much since it's the kids' like...
Because they're like 30 years old.
Yeah, since they're like in their... Well, no, it's the kids. No, it's not William asking permission for himself to go. It's him asking for permission for the future king of England to go to America.
Gotcha.
Like...
Okay. All right. Okay, that makes sense then. I mean, it kind
of... In
of...
that family, she has a lot of power.
It kind of makes sense, too, because technically Charles and Diana were in such like a aggressive divorce, and they probably were... Neither of them were responsible parents at the time. You know what I mean? That could be, too.
Well, no, this is rules. This is like the rules of the royal family.
Oh.
No, this goes back. So she is the matriarch. She's the main one. So, like, she has guardianship, basically, of all of the children.
I got you. Okay, I thought you were saying that while they were getting divorced, she got custody of the kids.
No. This is a matriarch. This is a monarchy thing.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right.
No.
Anyway, back to what we're saying. I think I am in a majority with you is that she got into a car with a man who is intoxicated, and then he had the fucking mosquitoes chasing him around, and he was probably trying to get away from them and went way too fast while you're fucked up, crashed the car, and incidentally ended up killing, 3 of them. So, which is too bad. But I don't know. Part of me just think there's something fishy here. Like something has just never sat right with me about her death. But, maybe it was just an accident. But we'll never know. But now, Phil, if our audience wants to let us know what they think happened to Diana, can they do that?
Well, we got an email that we've been checking, subliminaldpodcast@gmail.com. If anybody wants to get a hold of us, give us their theories about how Queen Elizabeth may or may not have taken out Diana. You can go ahead on there. We also, it's easier and more likely to check this on Instagram at Subliminal Deception on Instagram. We check that much more often. I have my own SD Pod Phil is on Instagram, and Cody, you've got a few.
Yeah, you can add my personal Instagram at CodySabub. You can add my other podcast at Bumblebutt Podcast if you're into true crime, paranormal, all that fun stuff. Give that a listen to. The final thing we need you to do is to log on to Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and leave the show a 5-star review. Just write a little note in there. Doesn't really matter what you say. It's just for the rankings and helps Subliminal Deception get more exposure, helps us grow, helps us continue to make the show even better. So, thank you for those who have taken the time to do that for us, and we hope if you haven't, you will take, 3 minutes and do it for us. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. It's going to be a little longer than what we normally do, but I don't think you'll mind. And otherwise, we will see you guys next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.